Mom, we just need $50,000 to start our business. You'll get it all back, plus interest. That's what my daughter said before disappearing with my retirement fund. I trusted her completely. She'd always been responsible, even managed my finances when I was sick last year. Turns out blood is thicker than water and significantly more expensive. I never thought I'd be 65 and starting over financially because my own flesh and blood decided my bank account was their personal ATM. But here we are. And trust me, what happened next makes those pyramid scheme nightmares look like child's play at a sandbox. The golden child era. What parent doesn't think their kid hung the moon? I certainly did with my daughter Melissa. From the moment she took her first wobbly steps across our living room floor, I was completely gone, totally wrapped around her little finger. I've got a photo album filled with dance recitals where she's always slightly off step, but smiling so big you'd think she was the star. Honor roll certificates, softball trophies that were mostly for participation. But hey, in my eyes, she was basically an Olympic athlete in training. I spent 30 years building what I thought was a perfect mother-daughter relationship. Bedtime stories, kiss boo-boos, late night talks about boys. Me showing up to every event with my camera ready, cheering louder than any other parent. Her saying, "Mom, you're my best friend," while we wore matching Christmas pajamas and shared inside jokes that made us both laugh until we cried. Looking back now, I should have noticed the patterns. She had a talent for timing her calls perfectly. She'd reach out on a random Tuesday, spend 20 minutes asking about my garden or book club, topics she never actually cared about. She'd listen attentively, making small comments like, "You're so good at explaining things, Mom," or, "I wish I had your patience." Then she'd casually mention her car needed repairs or her rent was due early. She made me feel like I was the most important person in her world right before asking for money. "Mom, no one understands me like you do," she'd say, and I'd reach for my checkbook before she even finished her sentence. "Mom, I just feel so safe talking to you about this." And my wallet would practically open itself. The formula was consistent: compliment, personal connection, cash request, perfected over years. When Tom joined our family, everything changed. Melissa met him at a charity event she'd only attended because I bought the ticket. 6 months later, they were engaged, transforming into a power couple with big dreams and bigger spending habits. He worked in finance, which I later discovered meant occasionally day trading while watching YouTube videos on getting rich quick. She got a job at a high-end boutique that gave her a discount on clothes she still couldn't afford. Their wedding cost $35,000, mostly from my savings account because it's a once-in-a-lifetime day, Mom. I documented every milestone in photo albums. Her first steps, graduations, prom, their wedding day. Those albums now sit in a cardboard box in my garage. Can't quite bring myself to look at them or throw them out. The warning signs were everywhere. There was the temporary loan for their security deposit that never got repaid. The emergency credit card that mysteriously reached its limit buying designer shoes. The time they borrowed my car and returned it with an empty tank and a mysterious dent they swore was already there. Tom would describe business ventures that were always about to make it big. "Next month, we'll pay you back everything plus interest," he'd say with that smile that never reached his eyes. Melissa would add, "We just need a little help with cash flow right now." Their cash flowed in one direction only from my accounts to theirs. What I didn't realize was how these small betrayals of trust were setting the stage for the financial hurricane headed my way. Each time I said yes, each time I transferred money, just this once, I was handing them a blueprint of my vulnerabilities. How did my daughter convince me to hand over my life savings? By leveraging 30 years of being my perfect child. It wasn't some internet scammer or Nigerian prince that took everything I had worked for. It was the girl whose skinned knees I had bandaged, whose tears I had wiped away. "Mom, you've always believed in me when no one else did," she said over dinner when they pitched their investment opportunity. And she was right. I had always believed in her. "That's what moms do. This is my chance to make you proud," she told me, her eyes getting teary in that way I now realize was just another manipulation tool. "I want to take care of you the way you've always taken care of me." The cruelest part, I was touched. I thought how wonderful it was that my daughter wanted to secure my financial future. It felt like the ultimate parenting success story. My financial advisor always said, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But he never mentioned what to do when it comes from someone whose diapers you changed. When I handed over that check for $50,000, my entire retirement fund, Melissa hugged me and whispered, "You won't regret this, Mom." She was wrong. It's pretty much all I regret. So there I was, watching 30 years of careful saving, of coupon clipping and vacation skipping walk out my front door in the form of my daughter and her husband, my retirement fund converted to a check in her designer handbag. The pitch of a lifetime. It happened over lasagna, my specialty, the one with the homemade sauce that simmers all day and 3 different cheeses layered just right. The one Melissa always requested for her birthday dinners growing up. The one she suddenly had a craving for on a random Tuesday night. "Mom, I'm just really missing your cooking," she said on the phone. "Could we come over tomorrow? Just a casual dinner." I should have known something was up. In our 15 years of adult mother-daughter relationship, Melissa had never once used the word casual to describe anything. This is a woman who wore makeup to the hospital when she gave birth. She'd once rescheduled a dinner because her statement necklace didn't match her shoes. Even her grocery lists were color-coded. But there I was, chopping onions and feeling special because my daughter wanted my cooking. They showed up 15 minutes late, which wasn't unusual. What was unusual was Tom carrying a leather portfolio and Melissa having this weird, nervous energy, checking her lipstick right before ringing the doorbell. She hugged me too tightly, complimented my outfit too enthusiastically. I noticed, but I filed it away in that special mental folder labeled Things Mothers Pretend Not to See. We made it through the salad course with normal conversation. Then, just as I was serving the lasagna, Tom cleared his throat and said, "Carol, we actually have something exciting to share with you." Next thing I know, my dining room table, the same one where Melissa had done her homework for 12 years, was covered with printouts, glossy brochures, and a laptop open to a PowerPoint presentation. An actual PowerPoint presentation. In my dining room. While my lasagna got cold, it's a health food franchise, Melissa explained, her eyes bright with that look she used to get when she wanted a new bike. Organic smoothies, locally sourced grain bowls, wellness shots. Exactly what our community needs. Tom took over, clicking through slides showing mock-ups of a sleek store with concrete floors and hanging plants. We've secured exclusive rights to open the first 3 locations in our county, he said, like he was doing me a favor. The company's very selective about their franchisees. The numbers seemed too good to be true. Triple my investment in just 2 years. There were charts with lines going up at angles that would make a mountain climber nervous. Projections that made it sound like we'd be millionaires by Christmas. The best part is, Melissa said, squeezing my hand across the table, "We want you to be part of it. Our primary investor." She looked at me with those eyes. The same ones that convinced me to buy her a $200 prom dress in 1998 when we barely had grocery money. "You always said you wanted to be part of a family business." Tom kept using phrases straight from a late-night infomercial. "Ground floor opportunity. Limited time offer." My stomach tightened with each buzzword. I felt a cold sweat forming at my temples. Other investors are making a killing. Tom said, sliding a paper across the table with testimonials. I noticed none of them had last names, just Sarah T. and Mike B. My throat went dry as I realized how rehearsed this all felt. They had answers for everything. Health food market research, a detailed business plan, projected cash flow statements, franchise agreement summaries. I remember asking, shouldn't we get someone else to look at this? Maybe my financial advisor could review the numbers. The shift in their faces was subtle but immediate, like watching a cloud pass over the sun. Mom, Melissa said, her voice dropping to that serious tone, this opportunity won't last. The company is only offering this territory until the end of the week. Tom jumped in. Traditional financial advisors don't understand the franchise model. They're too conservative. He actually patted my hand. My chest tightened with indignation, but I said nothing. We don't want to pressure you, Melissa said, which was exactly what she was doing. But Tom's parents were interested in investing too, and we wanted to give you first opportunity. The funny thing is, I'd meet Tom's parents at Thanksgiving 3 months later, and they'd never even heard about this business. I sat there, fork forgotten in my hand. $50,000 was my retirement fund, the money I'd saved working as a school secretary for 35 years. But then I looked at Melissa, and my heart ached with the desire to believe in her, to support her dreams. My hands trembled slightly as I considered what this decision meant. They slid paperwork across my dining table, official-looking documents with embossed logos, and lots of small print. Don't worry about all the legal jargon, Tom said, flipping through to the signature page. It's standard franchise agreement stuff. We'll take care of everything, Melissa added, sliding a pen toward me. You can just sit back and watch your money grow. Looking back, the red flags were waving so hard they could have generated electricity. The urgency, the defensiveness, the don't ask questions attitude, but I missed them all. Or maybe I saw them and chose to ignore them because acknowledging them would mean acknowledging something about my daughter I wasn't ready to face. I signed the papers somewhere between dessert and coffee. I wrote a check for $50,000 and handed it to my daughter with a trust that makes me cringe now. You've made the right decision, Mom, Melissa said, hugging me tight. This is going to change all our lives. She was right about that part, at least. Fastest way to lose $50,000 without going to Vegas, folks. The honeymoon phase. For the first 3 months, everything seemed perfect. Absolutely picture perfect. Every month, like clockwork, I'd receive a statement in the mail showing my investment growing. 10% returns in just the first quarter. The papers looked official enough. Letterhead with the franchise logo, numbers in neat columns, even a personalized note thanking me for my vision in supporting this groundbreaking wellness concept. Melissa called me at least once a week with updates. Mom, you won't believe how fast things are moving, she'd gush. The contractors are finalizing the build-out quotes. The franchise team loves our location. We're interviewing potential managers next week. She used industry terms I didn't understand but was too embarrassed to question. I just nodded along, feeling simultaneously important and ignorant. About 6 weeks after I'd written that check, they invited me to see the construction site. We drove to a strip mall on the edge of town, one of those newer developments with a Starbucks and a yoga studio. There was an empty storefront with paper covering the windows. Tom unlocked the door with a flourish. Welcome to the future home of Pure Life Nutrition, he announced, gesturing around the empty space. The space was completely bare, just concrete floors and white walls with a small display in the center. There were architectural renderings showing sleek countertops, color swatches, and a foam board sign reading, "Coming soon, Pure Life Nutrition." They'd even set up a table with sample products, bottles of green juice, and protein powders with the franchise logo. We're finalizing permits now, Tom explained, pointing to various corners. Juice bar there, seating area here, grab-and-go coolers along that wall. I felt proud looking at those plans. My daughter, the business owner, my investment, making something real in the world. I took pictures to show my friends at book club. The first crack in their story appeared a week later. I bumped into Tom's brother Mike at the grocery store. So what do you think about Tom and Melissa's new venture? I asked. The health food place. The look of confusion on his face still haunts me. What health food place? He asked. The franchise they're opening, I explained. Pure Life Nutrition in that new strip mall on Oakmont. Oh, he said after an awkward pause. Yeah, I think I remember them mentioning something about that. Hasn't come up recently, though. That moment stayed with me. Why wouldn't Tom's brother know about their big business venture? Other things started piling up. Whenever I asked to see paperwork, the franchise agreement, the lease, construction contracts, they always had excuses. The papers were at their other house, or with their lawyer, or at franchise headquarters. Always somewhere just out of reach. Meanwhile, Melissa and Tom's lifestyle improved dramatically. They arrived at Sunday dinner in a brand new SUV, just a lease, Tom explained vaguely. They mentioned a business trip to Bali. The franchise has an annual retreat for owners, Melissa claimed. Then there was the diamond tennis bracelet on Melissa's wrist, just sterling silver and cubic zirconia, she insisted, though I recognized real diamonds. Inconsistencies multiplied. The location moved from the Oakmont Strip Mall to downtown for better foot traffic. The opening date shifted from early summer to probably fall to first quarter next year, without explanation. The other investors remained nameless despite my questions. 3 months in, I called the franchise company directly. I'm sorry, ma'am, the customer service rep said. We don't have any record of a new franchise location and development in your area. My heart sank, but I made excuses for them. Maybe the paperwork wasn't processed yet. Could you check under Melissa or Thomas Griffin? I asked. I don't show any franchise agreements with anyone by that name. She replied. I called Melissa afterward, keeping my voice casual, and mentioned the call. She didn't miss a beat. Oh, Mom, corporate customer service doesn't have access to new development information. That's handled by the franchise development office. They're very secretive about new locations until everything is finalized. The monthly statements continued showing steady growth, but I noticed problems, changing fonts, inconsistent number formatting, slightly different letterheads. Once, I spotted my maiden name, which I hadn't used in 40 years. They looked increasingly like something typed up in Microsoft Word. The moment I knew came 4 months after writing that check. After a doctor's appointment, near the strip mall, I decided to see how construction was progressing. What I found was a storefront with a big "For Lease" sign. The space was completely empty, no construction materials, no permits, nothing. I called the number on the lease sign from the parking lot. How long has this space been available? I asked the realtor. It's been vacant for about 8 months, she told me. We've had some interest, but no signed leases yet. Standing there, staring at an empty storefront that was supposed to be our family business, I finally faced the truth. There was no franchise. There was no business. The only thing being constructed was an elaborate web of lies, and I was caught right in the middle of it,